Midweek Mayhem. We are your host, Father of Trades, and I am here joined, as always, by my good friend Moji.
Hey, what's up, guys?
We have to talk about a little bit of stuff today, including a cancer vaccine from Moderna that is making waves, doubling the stock just today. And we also need to, of course, talk about Unitree and robotics, how far away we are, and or rather how close we are, and what it means for a lot of the things that we have been talking about on this channel. So as anyone who has been watching this knows, we have been discussing robotics for quite some time, and I think that the Unitree IPO doing so well, uh, I think that is a huge signal for us, right?
For sure. No, I think that with like the robotics wave coming up, it's kind of like the next segment of AI that I believe is gonna just go up massively. So when I say that, I think a lot of companies, not just Unitree, but other companies, obviously will start to rise as well as people talk about robotics more. People use robotics more. We see real world people that use robotics in their for their home or for their business and stuff like that. And I think the more we see that and more we adopt this type of thing, then I think these stocks are going to do extremely well. And yeah, I mean, Unitree is just one of them, but another there's some sleeper plays that I like. Like SYM.
Hmm.
They're a robotics company, and there's like, I mean, there's so many. There's so many ways to play the robotics sector itself, but I would say that, like, in all, I would say that it's something you want to be in. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be on the side in this market. You know what I'm saying? Because pretty soon, in a couple of years, you'll be like, I wish I bought these stocks. For sure. So
Absolutely, and I think that this is going to be one of those things where everyone kind of like looking back. It's one of those things like with Nvidia where everyone's like, "Oh man, but it was so
it's
obvious."
so obvious.
It
Yeah,
was so obvious, right? It was so obvious.
for sure.
Um, and it's funny because that's really how I feel. Um, like in particular, the most high confidence robotics trade that I have is my BlackBerry long, right?
Yeah.
So did you see the news that BlackBerry was selected? This came out last night. Probably you might have been asleep. It was pretty late last night, but I was up, right? Where news came out of Shanghai that BlackBerry is going to be providing all of the BlackBerry is going to be providing all of the like kind of like software backbone for Momenta, which is self-driving.
Is that what they're with the QNX technology, or is that something different?
No, it's QNX. It's QNX.
Yeah.
So Momenta released this video very quietly 2 days ago, and I'll pull it up real quick to show you.
That's cool. Like, that I was just thinking about that. There's so many ways to play the robotics slash FSD, because you can put those in the same sector. I think the beginning of robotics is seeing these full self drive vehicles, and how they work and stuff like that. Because every company has its own vision. These companies in China do, Tesla does, Waymo does, and we don't know yet who's going to win, but in my opinion, it's something that's gonna happen for sure. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, here I'm pulling up a video. I want you to see this real quick
All right, let's check it
because
out.
seeing is
I
believing.
love autonomous driving. Anything.
So this is one of the most dangerous roads to travel.
It's like the Big Sur of China or something, dude. That looks
Literally,
crazy.
it is a lot like Big Sur.
Yeah.
Yeah. So watch this. Watch this vehicle actually move and watch like watch it move, okay? And watch like he's going to do this completely live, okay? Hands are off the steering wheel there, right? and it gets progressively more difficult as as it moves along, right?
Yeah. So I mean, this technology is going to be the future. I mean, it's already there, you know. And
It's
if
the present too,
yeah, it's the
but
present. This isn't something that's going to happen. It's already happening.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think that as time moves on, not only will this become more advanced, but it's going to become normal.
Oh,
I
for
think
sure.
that, in the next 5 years or so, we are going to see this technology included in most modern vehicles.
For sure. I mean, it was a Tesla. Obviously, I think Tesla contributed to starting it first. But these companies, I mean, in China, it's the technology's better. It's cheaper. It's more efficient. You know, and they sell to the entire world. That's what people in America don't really think about. Is that we think about who sells to us, because I know we consume a lot, but the world itself, people buy from China. They were buying from BYD and other stocks, and I mean, those stocks have not done necessarily well, but if BlackBerry is able to get these deals, that means their stocks doing something good, and it's making a technology that's gonna be like the future for sure. So
Absolutely. And
yeah.
when we're seeing something, I mean, granted, like this, look at how narrow this is. Look at the margin of error. There is barely enough room for, this small sedan that's being driven to get through this area.
Yeah,
and
it's able to
it's doing it on its own. It's
Yeah.
able to navigate it, and it's doing so, with photonics basically mapping out the area that's around it,
Yes.
while also, contextualizing it and saying, okay, well, this is an area where I can speed up. This is an area where, okay, we have something in front of us. Let's start slowing down, right? So
Yeah.
it slows from 28 kilometers down to 20 kilometers an hour. It sees this big turn coming up, slows way down on its own. Completely autonomous. So driving,
And if the price is probably much less than a Tesla too, dude. You know what I'm saying? Let's just
absolutely.
Because in China they got them for like 25K. You can get like a 30K. You can get like an amazing,
absolutely,
a $50,000, $60,000 car in the US. For half.
Well, and see, and that's the reason that we here in the US that we have such large tariffs on Chinese EVs, is because if we didn't, then Chinese
They would just
EVs,
dominate.
They would dominate. Tesla
Yeah.
would be out of business.
Tesla would be cooked because
Yeah.
everyone would buy something else.
Everyone would buy BYD,
Yeah.
probably, to be honest.
BYD, yeah, BYD is, some of their cars seem too good to be true, and I'm just like,
But
that's
they're incredible, man. They're incredible. Like I have a friend who, he's from Canada. Don't think he's watching right now, but he's from Canada and he works on like luxury vehicles there. So basically, he's the guy that if you bought a Lamborghini, right? Really exotic cars is what he works on. But if you bought a Lamborghini and you needed like the governor taken off, so that way you could use the full power of the engine, right? He would be the guy that does that. Well, he went on a business trip to China, God, maybe about 9 or 10 months ago. And he said that, like, he was showing me pictures. He said that BYDs are everywhere. And they're phenomenal cars. I mean, there's a reason that they are the top selling.
And they have like
world.
cheap cars and then really like nice expensive ones too,
Absolutely.
So they hit all the markets.
Absolutely. Right. So they made some that are affordable to everyone, and then they made some that are,
like supercars almost.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So,
which is cool.
It's really, really interesting to see where vehicle technology is going.
For sure.
And
no, I think you're right.
that,
I really agree with you, because I think a lot of people don't see that either, that they're like, oh, they don't see the transition. It's not just about electric vehicles. It's about this, these autonomies, because at the end of the day, you don't have to drive. You can just be chilling, like watching Netflix, eating food, while your car just takes you safely wherever you want to go. And that, like you said, I think in 5 years or less, every car is going to have this technology or some form of it. Even everyone needs to catch up, because for 30 or 40K, you can get a badass car that will drive you around by itself. And
absolutely.
For old people, for disabled people, young people, whatever, it's a very big boon for these people too, and for all of us. So it's
so one thing that I think may arise out of this, and maybe this is a little bit more speculative, right?
Mhm.
But one thing that I think might arise out of this is that as we have autonomous vehicles in mass, the need for everyone to have their own vehicle might start to diminish a little bit. Because think about how cheap like a ride sharing service, right? Something
Yeah,
like
like
Lyft
if a car,
or
if a clean, safe car could just pick you up anytime and take you anywhere, why would you need extra cars? You would need less
absolutely.
cars.
I mean,
My
don't get
car
me
just
wrong,
sits there.
right?
Yeah,
Like, uh, America's big, right? We have huge distances, so depending on where you are, you might need that. But there's a lot of places like San Francisco and New York where they just don't have vehicles right now, and I could see that kind of becoming the norm in
for sure.
less congested
There's all
cities as
sorts of
well.
parking issues, and people have, it's just a disaster. So this could resolve a lot of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
But at the end of the day, I think that the big takeaway from all of this is that regardless of who ends up manufacturing the vehicle, what we should look at is what company do they all have in common? And that company is BlackBerry.
that's crazy. So their technology is like, what is it
It's the
like, the
backbone.
interface with how the
No,
electric
it's
vehicles.
it's the software backbone. It's the operating system
Oh wow. So these
for all of this
that's
to
cool.
to work, right? And
So
it's
yeah,
also Nvidia chose them as the operating system to build their entire tech stack on for um, for their robotics program.
yeah.
So, like, we are seeing these big strides, and what started off as kind of, again, a little bit speculative, right? Is
Mhm.
starting to become a hell of a lot less speculative. Um, and I think that that's just really interesting, right?
And the
That's just really
stock's not
interesting.
like super, it hasn't rallied like super hard, like
It
on
hasn't
like 20,
responded to
thirty
this.
x Like that's what you see in these type of markets when a company announces that they're doing this and they have this technology. So it might be kind of a sleeper at this point, where it's like it's sitting at $8 a share, but in 6 months it could be at 12 or 15 and stay up there, and I feel like people would might miss it. This might be $100 stock in a few years, and people might be like, oh man,
And and I really think that that's possible.
it
So
is.
so what's interesting, I think, is that when we're looking at BlackBerry, and when we are listening to their CEO speak, right? So he was talking about how they have a little bit over $900 million in royalties backlogged that need to be paid to them.
Yeah.
Okay, for using this software.
Hmm.
Well, their annual revenue for 2025 was 558
So
million.
that's triple, like they're double their revenue basically.
That's double their annual revenue just in
Just in
backlogged
one thing. Yeah.
royalties. Just in
That's the
backlogged
market we're
royalties.
in, though, for sure. We're like, that's the kind of demand these companies are getting, and there, some of them are not priced into the stock yet. I feel like people are just kind of sleeping on it for now, and
Absolutely.
it'll get, re-rated. That's the word that I hear everyone using when a company just goes bonkers in this market. And when a company gets re-rated, I'm like, if you already were talking about it, then to you it doesn't get re-rated. You're like, it just went to the valuation it should have been, which I guess is the
Yep.
same term. But I'm saying that people use that term because it's like when you were looking at Micron or you look at these other companies and they have these huge contracts in the future, and you're like, oh, I don't know if they're going to do that. And the contract's worth more than like their market cap, then you're like, wait, why shouldn't I buy this stock? So it's kind of obvious, and it's sitting there for 6 months doing nothing. So that's why people get nervous. They're like, why isn't this company moving? And it's just better to have these type of companies, in my opinion, in your portfolio, even if you're
Agreed.
going to buy 100, 1,000, whatever you can afford, 100 shares, 1,000 shares, as much as you can afford, in my opinion. I like to buy like on dips and get the best average. But I'm saying that for me, it's like a risk reward thing. Like I have BlackBerry in my portfolio and I just tuck it away, and I think my average is
Absolutely.
around like $5 or $6, which is okay, and I'm just going to leave it there for probably a long time,
Yeah,
a
I was
couple
about to
thousand
say
shares. Yeah.
I have I have some shares in the long-term retirement account for this one, And then I also am holding some January 2027 $10 calls and January 2028 $15 calls. And, despite being red on the calls, okay, which I'm red on the calls. I I just don't see a reason to sell. If anything, to be honest with you, I added a little bit more yesterday, and I'm kind of contemplating adding a little bit more right now, just because, when I'm seeing the price this cheap, okay, I'm seeing the price this cheap. I'm seeing that they have earnings in about a month, and I am expecting honestly quite a bit from it, right? I'm
There's going to be
expecting
a
quite a
hype
bit from
pump
those
too,
earnings.
like the hype pump comes too around earnings because then people start talking about the tech they have, more people are engaged with the stock too. So that also helps,
Well, I think
definitely lift.
it does, and I think that one thing that we have to be aware of is that, like, the market, while, you know clearly this has been re-rated, right, from being priced for bankruptcy at $3 to being priced at 841, which, some people might say, oh, well, that's a huge premium, right, for like what the business does. But realistically, when we're looking at it, like 558 million in revenue, less than a $5 billion market cap, like it's not insanely overpriced.
It's
It's
not.
not
It could
insanely
easily
expensive.
become like a very valuable growth stock
Well,
where people,
absolutely.
yeah,
And
where people are
the
like,
nice
"Oh
thing
shit,
is,
man, yeah."
that, like, with QNX specifically, okay, with QNX specifically, there are very limited costs to getting this out, right? To
Mhm.
scaling this up, because the cost have already been, spent, right?
Yeah.
Like, this has already been done,
Mhm.
right? To build that platform. Now, of course, there's going to be updates. There's going to be some upgrades, right? Polish this, build this custom function for this company. Sure, there will be some more costs, but the majority of all of that spending, it's done, right? It's done. The base product is ready. It's out. It's being rolled out. It's literally the backbone of all of the biggest robotics programs. So, when we're
The
when we're
upside
looking
is
at it,
huge
like,
then. We're
the
talking
upside
about a
is the
5
upside
billion
is
market
huge.
cap here with that could like the potential upside is massive on this
The
one.
Again, I think by the end of 2027, I think this is a $60 stock.
Yeah, I mean that's a
I've been
12x,
saying
or I
that
mean
for a
that's like
long
at least
time.
like a 7x, 8x from here, and then we're long
Absolutely.
term. Who knows, right? Like it
Yeah.
could go if it becomes that's these companies get revived, like or they get they change over time, and that's what people I think they get stuck on. Oh yeah, they think about BlackBerry, they think about the old phone and stuff like that, and they don't think, hey, what are they actually doing now? What's
Yeah.
the difference?
What can they become? I mean,
Yeah.
imagine seeing Nvidia while they were turning and saying, "Oh, well, they just make GPUs
Video,
for
yeah, exactly.
gamers.
They just make that's a lot of people. In
They just make
2022,
GPUs
that
for
was the biggest
gamers."
argument. They were like, dude, people have thought that it was
And
all
people are
bonkers.
short-sighted, right? People are
Yeah,
short-sighted.
they were like, dude, we already have AI. What are you talking about? There's no such thing as AI. Like, and then one of my dad's friends had said that Nvidia was like, Jensen was a fraud, and this was back in 2022. And I was like, and I think it had just started going back up, or 2023, it just started going back up. And this guy was just like, he was kept telling me, he was like, I would sell it, I would sell it. And I was like, dude, I'm not going to sell Nvidia because I believe in it. And then I think if you ask this guy now, he'll tell you that Jensen's a fraud. You see what I'm saying? He's that he just doesn't believe in it. So some
He
people
can't
get
he
stuck
can't
in it.
he can't change his mind.
No, he's always a fraud in his mind. And I don't know
You know,
why people
people
feel like that because I just feel like
people
I
get
get it that
people get
some of
stuck in
this,
their ideas,
some of
man.
it
And
might be like a little you know what I'm saying, but mostly like this stuff is there. This has legs, so that's all I got to say.
it's funny because you hear a lot of people too that are talking about, like, with Nvidia, not just Nvidia, right, but AI in general,
Mhm.
how, like, that entire ecosystem is a little bit circular. And yes, it is, right? But by sheer nature, it has to be, right?
Correct.
Because let's think about this. Let's break this down. Okay. So you have your semiconductor, right? Okay. So you have your semiconductor company that is going to produce for your data center, right?
Yep.
So you got your semiconductors producing for the data center. The data center is going to sell compute to
Like the large mid caps.
AI, right?
Yep.
AI needs the data center.
Hmm.
Okay. So then wouldn't it make sense for AI, if they need more semiconductors to build more data centers, to go ahead and invest in semiconductors? So that way the
Correct.
semiconductor stocks, right, and all the chip manufacturers can expand. So that way they can open up more data centers,
They have
right?
to. Yeah. Like
So
it makes
that way
perfect
you could have
sense.
AI, so that way they can invest, right?
And
So
they're
it
buying chips though. If you call the semiconductor stock Nvidia and the AI stocks like Google or Tesla or whatever, Tesla or Amazon or whatever or Meta, and then they're investing all this money in Nvidia. They're not on top of like building data centers and or investing in data centers and investing money buying Nvidia chips. I'm saying they're obviously giving Nvidia tons of money. Like that's just a fact. And like what you said, they have to give Nvidia money because that's the main dude that's making all the good chips they want. They want as
absolutely.
many as they can get their hands on right now.
Yeah.
So
So it makes sense that the financing for it would be a little bit circular.
mhm.
And it's funny because I also had somebody in the Discord that was talking about how basically like AI is just kind of like this circle jerk among oligarchs, right?
Oh yeah, that narrative is so strong, but those people only watch like the videos on like they watch AI videos and they piss. You know what I'm saying? They don't know the other applications for AI, like how with medicine, like Moderna, for example.
They used AI for
That's what I'm
this. I mean,
saying.
and so
Like
did
people
SLS,
don't
right?
realize that if
SLS.
they can cure cancer with freaking AI, like if AI actually cured cancer in 1 year, like if people never died of cancer again in 1 year, are those people still going to be like, oh, AI is evil? It's no, like you can't say that then.
Yeah,
Yes, it could have evil properties if you used it, but it's not just like in AI is inherently evil. It's controlled by oligarchs. Like scientists are using AI everywhere around the world right now in every application, from engineering to
absolutely.
medicine. And if you talk to intelligent people, they have nothing but good to say about AI. So I'm not saying your friend is not intelligent, but I'm
No,
saying
no, 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 no.
that there's just a
I get what you're
narrative.
saying.
There's a narrative out there, like what you said, that's like AI is controlled, and there is a point to that. I'm not saying
There,
it's not.
I will say
I
there is a little
understand that
validity to
side,
it,
but I'm
right?
saying that it's a slippery slope to just say that. You know what I'm saying? That you have to kind of balance it. You have to figure out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
So
we have to understand that AI realistically just is a tool for
it's a
literally
tool. Yeah.
universal application.
Exactly.
I mean, it doesn't matter what you are using it for. By nature, it can adapt,
Hmm.
right? It can adapt to the need that you have for it. So, you know,
So the
I
good
am
will come
very,
with the
very
bad,
bullish
and
on
yeah.
physical AI,
Oh, me
um,
too. And
physical
that's
AI in general.
robotics, like we were talking about before. Like that's the physical AI, right? That you're talking about. That's
Absolutely.
coming. Yeah.
Yeah. So physical AI, autonomous AI, right? In general, something that's tangible that we could use and see, whether that be uh, robotics, vehicles, drones,
Something to clean my house.
satellites,
Like I
right?
would pay so much if it would efficiently clean my house. I'd probably pay like thousands of dollars a month. If it like at least $1,000 a month if it cleaned my house
Absolutely.
really well. And I would pay it, and the company could make bank off of me and other people that would pay that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Did you see some of the Unitree robotics that they've come out with?
I haven't. No, I haven't seen it. If you want, I mean, if you can pull it up
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
If you
yeah.
want.
Let me
Yeah,
pull that up just because I want to show you and I
that's
want to
cool. No,
show
I want to
everybody
see like
watching
because I
because
there's
we're going to be
I'm
talking about this, right? Like
yeah
this
no I
is
want to see like the different applications of robots because I've seen so many, so it's just cool to see them.
so here. Let me pull this up real quick. There we go. Just got to swap that screen over to this. All right. So first off, this is like their superhuman AI, right? High this can jump over 200 centimeters. This thing can literally sprint faster than any recorded human. So this is running faster, and it looks hilarious too. But
it's terrifying though too.
Than an Olympic athlete. Okay, that's trained their entire life.
You wouldn't want to be in that thing's way when it hits you.
Absolutely not. Right? And then when we're looking at this, right?
The Chinese got it down though.
Well, they've been pouring a ton
of
money.
We're screwed then, dude. If they win on the robot race, we're screwed.
Well, see, in the U.S. is doing things like this, right?
They are.
Like
but I'm
Tesla has robotics, right? Boston Dynamics,
those are people that are like, oh, against it. Nothing against them.
No, absolutely, but this is crazy. So it says, get the blue medicine from the third drawer and put it on top of this
so
counter.
Just act like help it as a nurse or like that.
So it literally looks. It tells the lady how many boxes are there. Tells them the colors it is.
And this is what we're going to be laughing at in 20 years or 10 years. Think about that. We're going to be looking at this video.
This is going to be like in its infancy. Like, this is going to be kind of a joke.
We're going to be like, what was this? But it's still cool, though, to see that it's actually happening.
It is. And one thing here. So right here, you see these two sensors?
Yeah.
These are the photonics, right? This is photonics in action in robotics. So this is something that we've also talked about, where not only can photonics be used for data transmission, but it can also be used, for autonomous driving. It can be used for robotics to be able to see what is actually happening. Now, this isn't just a camera. I mean, there are cameras in it, but the camera itself is not enough. The photonics is needed. So that way, basically what it does is it shoots out a laser, and then it when the laser reflects back to it, it can measure the distance by the amount of time that it took that laser to move, right? Because the speed of light is a constant. The only thing that can change that constant speed is a black hole, right? So by measuring the amount of time to bounce back,
as like lidar or lidar.
Yeah, same concept.
Where it shoots the laser out.
Same concept.
That's why those photonics stocks have been going absolutely crazy recently.
And not only that, but like look, this thing can do stuff. I mean, is it perfect?
Oh man, that's where I wanted to be, in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Cleaning up.
Watch this, bro. This is cool.
Food.
He said, put the plate in the dishwasher. So what does this thing do? Now, we can't trade unitary, but this is so everyone can see what robotics is doing, right? It puts it there.
Tesla needs to catch up then, dude. China's like,
Again, it's autonomous, right? Like, this thing can figure out what you are asking for contextually. It can understand you, right? This is kind of what we were talking about, like in regards to SoundHound, right, on the last podcast, where being able to not only register the words, right, and be able to like form them into text, but being able to understand like the meaning behind it is really, really big, right? Yes. It's really, really big.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's
the advancements are huge.
I just feel like one thing about robotics is that, like, because we're in the early stages, I think a lot of people are going to be apprehensive about it. At the beginning, they're going to be like, I don't want a robot in my house. I don't want it. Like, my dad is always like, I don't trust FSD. I'm saying stuff like that. I feel like some people are going to be skeptical, but I think because it's going to get so good over time, like in the next 6 months or a year, people are not going to care at that point.
Well, think about technology at large, right? So think about, for instance, like the internet, right? If we're thinking about the internet, look at Icarus in chat. He said, I saw one of those fuckers the other day on social media running after a boar in Poland.
Doing what?
Running after a boar in Poland. Like, dude, I'm telling you, these things are real. Like, this is not a joke. Like, and the crazy thing is again, right? Kind of what I was going to before I got sidetracked by a really funny comment. So what ended up happening with like the internet, right? So at first, the internet was like, oh, this is just a tool for nerds, right? Computers are for nerds, right? Like, how much did you hear that in the 90s?
Oh
And
yeah.
then even into the 2000s. And
Yeah, in
then
the
you had a
2000s,
bunch
they
of
were like,
people
oh,
that,
when Facebook came out, everyone was like, what the hell is this shit? Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
my parents did, and they were like, what are y'all on? You know, and we're like, we're just talking to our friends, you know, it was just a different culture, a different time, you know.
yeah.
So
And well, the thing is that like
and now
we,
they're on Facebook and we're not. You know what
yeah, right. Well, but that's funny. That's true. But the thing is that like when you see this emerging technology, right? It's important not only as just an investor, but as a person to be able to realize the potential that it has and to understand the overall need that it is going to fulfill in the future, right? So if you can recognize the trend before everyone else,
Mhm.
there is an incredible amount of monetary value in recognizing the future.
100%.
Okay. Just in the same way that there was with AI with NVIDIA, right?
Mhm.
And getting into Palantir early.
Yeah,
I am here to tell you right now that there is money in recognizing that physical AI is the future.
I
Now,
agree
how
with that
far in the
statement.
future?
Yeah.
I don't have a
It
crystal
could
ball.
take,
It
3
could take
years, it
years.
could take
But
15 years.
but
Like we
if
can't, yeah.
if you take some money and you park it there, I am very confident that you are going to do well.
I agree.
So one of
It's the
the other
next
things
wave.
that it has to be,
It's
right?
coming. It's coming, and you can't stop it. Just like when I said
The
about AI in
unstoppable
2022.
tide of
I
physical
said when
AI.
AI is coming and it's going to be unstoppable. When I told people that, they laughed at me. Like I told my even my
Absolutely.
parents, everyone. I was like, and I almost over exaggerated it because I wanted to like sound
Little
cool.
dramatic effect.
I was like, AI is gonna take over, but then I was serious about it too. I was like, I'm gonna invest in this because I really, the more I read about it, I was like, it is gonna take over. I got convinced. I convinced myself, you know. But I'm saying that with this robotics thing, I feel like it's the same thing, and
It is.
we're gonna in 5 or 10 years, everyone's gonna be like what you said. They're gonna be like, oh man, I should have invested in that, you know, just like how you said about Nvidia or Palantir or whatever, you know, things that I had gotten into earlier. I'm kind of pounding the table saying that you're gonna see those robots, you're gonna see the full self-driving cars, and the components, the parts, the companies that are involved with making that are gonna go bonkers, and you're gonna wish you
Absolutely.
invested in them.
Now we have a request from chat. We have user W7. We're just going to call him W7, right? And he said, hi, if possible, would you be able to touch on data centers? I wanted to get your thoughts on their future. I've read that demand has been weaker than expected and many aren't generating much revenue. So
Ooh, I can answer
I
that.
want to take a moment and I want to push back on that.
Mhm.
So if the demand has been weaker than expected, then why do all of them have a massive backlog uh, to build out, basically? And the second that the room becomes available, why do companies instantly fill those spots? If the demand is weaker than expected, then why is there a backlog whatsoever?
It that kind of question reminds me of Nvidia in 22. I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying that the question is like because like in Nvidia in 2022 was less valuable than it is now. It's more valuable now. It's a better investment now than it was back then because back then they didn't have any revenue. They had barely any revenue. No one talked, everyone didn't believe whatever they said about the future, about their projections or whatever. But I'm saying Caleb's exactly right. The data center, their backlog is huge. It's massive. We're talking about like something that would pop your eyes out type of
The
numbers.
the
So
hard the
it's a
hard
temporary
part,
thing.
I'd say the hard part for them isn't necessarily finding the demand. The demand exists.
It's
The hard
creating the
part is fulfilling the demand,
exactly.
right?
Hmm.
Because let's think about all of the things that have to happen for data centers, right? Let's think about all the things they need. So number 1, you need a shit ton of power. Number 2, you need water to cool it. Number 3, you need a lot of space. And that space in particular needs to be in an area where you have access to a lot of water, and a lot of power. Okay. So now we're limiting the amount of area. You need a large area that fits those two parameters, right? You don't want to, number four, right? You don't want to build in an area where there's going to be a bunch of natural disasters. So you're not going to build, a bunch of data centers in fucking New Orleans, right? It floods every year. It doesn't make any sense. So you have to find a place where you could say, we're going to build this and it's going to be able to last, right? We're not going to have a bunch of issues. You wouldn't build a data center on the San Andreas fault line. That wouldn't make any sense.
So
right?
you build it in Texas like Fermi or something.
Then you build it in Texas like Fermi, which isn't doing so hot right now. But we're gonna brush past that for a moment.
The thing is like I would answer that question is the reason, in my opinion, why the revenue is compressed a little bit for these type of companies, and the sudden growth isn't there. Is there like a hardcore capitulation phase in the sense that their backlog is huge. They're building out the infrastructure for the future. So they might take a few years to fruitify into like really strong, bigger, and but I'm saying it's going to happen quicker than we think at the same time because
it's
the capital is there.
Absolutely,
these companies need it. Like
they need it.
Like Meta or Amazon or Anthropic, whoever's cutting these deals with like these big data center companies, they need this compute. So they're going to be like, hey, you want to fund this out? Let's do it. That's their goal. And you're not going to see it like the return right away. You're going to say, hey, the numbers kind of suck right this moment. Wait a year or two. That's all I got to say. Yeah. Wait till 2028. You're going to be wishing you held those companies. That's all.
There's a bunch of capital expenditures, but realistically, what we are also seeing is that we are seeing that the largest firms, right, the biggest tech companies in the world, together they are committing trillions of dollars to this AI build out, and data centers, right, to be able to house all that compute. That is a really major part of this. In fact, it's arguably the largest part of it. So not only do you have, again, like the needs for the space, the needs for like the water and the power infrastructure, you have to also buy all the hardware. And then finally, you have to actually build the building. And these buildings have to have like very, very specific like ways to basically ventilate, right? They need to have good airflow so that way they can get all the hot air out. Because believe it or not, sitting in a server room, especially when you have thousands of advanced GPUs running, like, dude, that's going to get really hot. There's a reason that you need a bunch of water to cool it. Right?
That's why all these little companies that are involved with these manufacturing the data centers are all running crazy.
Yeah.
Like each little component. So when you break apart a data center into like 50 different things, one of them's for the cooling, one of them's for the electricity module, one of them's for the like test systems.
One of them is ventilation. Systems. You have your HVAC,
exactly.
right? You have your specialty metal fabricators that are able to build these, because GPUs are heavy, right? Especially if you have a ton of them. So you can't just put them on like wooden racks, right? What you need is like treated metal that can that can withstand the weight and also the temperature, right? So specialty metal fabricators like Vicor, those are necessary.
Yeah, I get the metal stocks have been ripping, like the silver metal. I mean, in general, like companies that produce metal, even silver, copper mines, gold mines in general. Like, and if you held them the last 2 or 3 years, ones that do metals and silvers in general.
So my gold miner that I always talk about to everybody, right? If anyone talks about gold, I talk about my favorite gold mining stock. Let me pull this up real quick and let me show you the move that they made today, actually. And it's funny because I have a few friends that jumped into it like long-term with me on this most recent dip. And this thing is just absolutely fucking roaring. And a lot of the reason, AGI. Alamos.
Oh yeah, I know AGI. Yeah, that's a really good one. That's a solid stock.
So Alamos is up about 8% today. Huge gap up after having this like gap up and then floating island consolidation with gold, right? Basically, this mimics gold, but it acts as though it has like some inherent leverage because it does, right? Mm-hmm. And again, when we're talking about gold, we're not just talking about something that's used for, you know, uh, to make jewelry, right? We're
No,
talking about real world application. It is soft, it's malleable, it's very conductive. So it is one of the main components of, and one of the most expensive components of, um, semiconductors, right?
correct.
And chips in general.
Hmm.
So, when we're thinking about, again, all of the things that have to combine in order to enable data centers, it's very expensive.
And to
So
think about the amount of gold, okay, like I was thinking about like the amount of copper and the amount of silver, the amount of gold, just real quick. The amount of gold is like, I think it's like the size of like your house in one giant cube in the entire world. It's some
it's
ridiculously small amount,
it
like
it
compressed.
yeah, I mean, if you compressed it, yeah,
It's
I mean,
not a
it's a little
lot.
more. It's a little more, but it's not. Point
It's
taken,
not. I
right?
mean,
It's
it
not a
could be
ton.
like a couple of how I'm saying it could be like a block of size, but I'm saying the fact is that when you think about the size of
It's
gold and you
finite.
compare that to like copper, because I was looking at copper stocks and silver too
Oh,
is
copper's everywhere.
but yeah,
Silver's everywhere.
copper is so abundant that even if I don't think you could find as much upside in. But now what's happened is a lot of these copper and silver companies, if they've gotten into gold too, and they've gotten into other
Absolutely.
metals, so they're all doing good in my opinion.
Yeah.
I have invested in multiple silver, copper, and gold stocks, like just small amounts of money a few years ago, and I've held them. But
And
they've
they've done
gone
great.
5 10x on all of them,
Yeah,
and I
they've
mean
all done great.
I'm gonna hold them. I'm not gonna sell them because I'm
Like
like
I initially had jumped into AGI at about 18, and I held it, you know, from I held it literally as it went up to 55, as it dipped down to 27, it's 35. I'm still holding
go,
it,
yeah, I
and
wouldn't
I'm
sell
going
it.
to
It's
just
gonna go
still hold
back to
it.
55, probably go to 100 one day. I wouldn't be surprised because these
And I think that that's a few years out, right?
no,
But
but I'm willing to
again,
hold it
like the
that long.
demand is the
Yeah,
demand is absolutely sustainable here,
if you
right? It's
have that
absolutely
time
sustainable.
horizon too to say, hey, like, what is the world gonna be like in 10 years? What's the demand for these coppers or minerals or like we don't even know. You know what I'm saying? So it could be this stuff could be much more scarce. Value could be a lot more. That's how I see it, and I think what you said
Agreed.
this stuff is necessary to build out certain things. You can't mimic gold and stuff like that. There's only a finite amount. So,
Yeah. And not everything is going to work right as
no,
well as gold. Like copper is pretty
just very
conductive. It's a
abundant.
good conductor. It's
Hmm.
very abundant, but it's not as conductive as gold, which
No,
means that if you if you are trying to basically take, you know, whatever it is you're trying to do, right? And you're trying to scale down the size but keep that same power, well then you need something that can do the same with less material. So
yeah.
copper wouldn't work for that. Gold would work for that,
But that's the
right?
thing. The good part about the copper stocks that I've seen, like Taseko is one of them, but there's a lot. I mean, that one changed its name. There's a lot of different copper stocks, but they found a ton of silver and some gold in their copper mine. So they lucked
Absolutely.
out. They were just hunting for copper. They owned land that had copper on it, a ton of copper. They kept drilling it and they found gold on it. And then it's like stock's going to
Absolutely.
do great then. So it's like these companies usually dabble in all of them unless you're going like a pure ETF style. Yeah, I would stay away from copper, by itself for sure. But
So another thing that I kind of want to touch on, is just Nasdaq in general, right? I want to talk about Nasdaq a little bit. So we we saw this big, massive sell off yesterday,
mm,
and if anyone here was watching futures, it was Asia that led that sell off, right?
mm,
And I think that a big part of it, um, was due to some remarks from Donald Trump, right, where he was talking about how he wants to cancel, military drills with South Korea, how he respects Kim Jong Un, right, the leader, the dictator, really, of North Korea, um, and there were some threats towards Oman for seeking to have some kind of understanding with Iran about control of the Strait of Hormuz, and what kind of passage can come. Asia did not accept that very well, Right. So what I would like to do real quick is I just want to go ahead and show. We're going to go on the 5 minute chart, and I want to show you what this actually looked like on the futures and CFDs. Right. So you can see how
Market's doing good right now, though, right?
it's holding up. It's not doing great, but
It
it's
had a
holding
good
up.
pop this morning, and then it kind of cool. I mean, some of it had a not really though. I only saw like Bitcoin and a few stocks going up. The market has not been doing as well as I thought it would do the last couple of weeks. But
Well,
it
and I think that a big part of that again was like what happened. So let's take a look at this here, right? Again, this is the 5 minute chart. Okay, so market opens up for Asia. This is our Sunday night, right? Their Monday morning. It opens up with a gap, right? Trades down just a little bit, grabs liquidity, and runs up. Then it goes on this tear. Okay, it goes on this tear. We get
I
into
still see
New
the
York
gold. I still see the
pre-market.
gold chart. I don't see the chart you're showing.
Oh, there we go. Boom.
Yeah.
Okay, so it gaps up, right? It kind of trades up throughout that session. New
Mhm.
York pre-market begins. London buys it up, right? It just kind of consolidates during the London session. Then New York starts waking up. Technically, New York pre-market begins right here, but it's largely still asleep. Sell-off kind of comes, right? Then we get the open, huge shakes, big move up, big move down, right? And then it just kind of consolidates, and we end up just a little bit below where that gap had initially occurred. But we end up resting in the same spot that we ended up finding support on Friday. So then Tuesday comes. Okay. This is Monday night, right? Monday night, everything's kind of trailing up. And then all of those remarks come out that Trump made, and Asia just fucking sells us off. Now, when Asia sells us off, right? This thing just ends up completely dumping. Right here, this is London opening. So London sees that. They continue the sell-off on London's opening, right? Consolidates, leg down, consolidates, leg down. Okay. Then we get New York open. You get this big kind of move up, and then we sell off even harder. And that brings us to where we are today, right? Where we have just literally been consolidating since, last night.
Can you do me one favor though?
What's up?
Can you zoom out 6 months for 1 second?
I can do that on the daily.
I just want to, yeah. I mean, as you can see, I feel like, we're in a good, solid support capitulation zone. And that means we could go lower. Like you see that bottom of that last wick. That's what I think our support level is, obviously.
Oh, right here?
Yeah.
Well, I think
But
that
I don't see it
realistically
even
we could
going that
say
low. I don't think
I
it's going to go that low.
I was
But I
about to
think
say I think realistically we could say that support's being found right here,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I
right?
think
Like in
that's
this
kind of a
zone.
misnomer to say that it's going to go. But I'm saying that's like a worst case scenario, in my opinion. The market is kind of broken out of a range where I feel like it'll take a recession or a big correction for it to go any lower than that, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And
So
we
we're in a
got that.
solid
We
zone.
got that quick correction here. And then
Yeah.
what happens, right? We
Boom.
immediately start rallying.
Yeah, it
So
rallied hard.
so we see that this like if we were drawing again like a trend line, just a basic trend line, I think that
You
all
can
of us
see
can
it.
agree that this is incredibly bullish still,
Oh
right?
my God. It looks like, yeah, it does.
Like so this is something where we need to be able to separate, the short-term day-to-day from like the long-term picture.
Mhm.
Like has it just literally chopped since, the beginning of May? Yes. Yeah, we've just literally consolidated.
Yeah.
There hasn't really been
That's
any
that's
major
almost a
gains since
healthy,
May.
good thing for the market, though, where you feel like, hey, like
Well, this
we're
is
not
this
going to
is where
go
accumulation has to occur, right?
exactly. That's where
If
accumulation occurs.
you can't just run hot all the time,
No,
right? It
but
has to
we're
cool
looking for the
down.
next leg up. But like we're in a capitulation phase. I think for maybe like I'm hoping another 4 to 6 weeks, and then we break out again. I mean, I can't be certain of anything. I think I think early
I don't even
October.
think that it's going to take that long, to be honest with you, because we see that, this sell
I'm
off
just
from
open for a
Asia,
buy hop.
like
That's fine.
this sell off from Asia, like it was brutal, right? And it continued through the London and the New York sessions. But what I will say is that it seems to kind of have run out of steam, right? Like sellers seem to be exhausted.
That's crazy though, because when you say, "Oh, I hope to find a buying opportunity," this is probably your buying
I
opportunity.
feel like this is the
Do you
buying
know what I'm saying?
opportunity.
Like people
Just
are
in the
like,
same way
I've
that,
said that time and time again. Oh, I'm gonna wait for a bigger dip,
yep.
and I swear to God, and that was probably like,
So do you remember,
30,000 points ago on the Nasdaq. They're like, whatever, 20,000, like back at 15K or
right?
20K Nasdaq. Oh, it's gonna go back down to 10K. No, it's not, dude.
So
People are
do you
crazy.
remember? Do you remember we actually had a stream right here on this candle, right? On this candle, and we were talking about how if this isn't the bottom, it's really close to the bottom. Like
Oh
this is
yeah,
the dip that you
that
get
was
to
the time
buy.
to buy.
And it
Yeah,
was the time to buy,
that was if you
right?
bought then, you would be
You're very
handsomely
up.
rewarded. You would
Yeah,
have
you're very
doubled
up.
your money
So
probably on
so
most
I I
stocks. Yeah.
bought I bought all sorts of stuff that was bleeding out right here, right? And as it continues to stagnate here, I'm still buying. I'm
But yeah,
just
exactly. I haven't like
slowly
people are like, "Oh, are you
accumulating.
gonna sell it?" And I'm like, "Whatever I bought, whatever we bought, what was that
Why?
like 3 weeks ago or whatever? I don't remember
Yeah.
when it was.
Why? Why
Why
would
would
you sell it?
why would I sell it? Exactly. I don't even care if it probably went back down to what I bought it at. I would just buy more and then sold it.
I
You
was
know what
about
I
to
mean?
say I've absolutely, like, at this point, like I've round tripped Indy, right?
Yeah, I don't know. And
But
I'm not even stressed about. That's normal at the beginning of. I'm not looking for a 50% gain and I'm out. I'm looking for like a 5-10xer, and I'm gonna get it.
absolutely.
And I'm gonna
Yeah.
get it. You know.
And it's funny because something that like has kind of gone off by the wayside with Indy, that again, like there hasn't been a lot of retail attention on this stock, right? So it's understandable. But when we're looking at Indy here, right? I just pulled up the Indy chart. We could see that it had this big run up, kind of a little blow off top. We had a big wick that literally went to this liquidity level that I've had marked out for fucking weeks, okay, for actually over a month. And we had a rejection. It gapped down, right?
It's crazy
Kind of
how
gapped up a
it
little,
hits the
sold off.
levels exactly like what you say. It hits that level of like your buy sell levels like almost perfectly. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's because that's where the large pre-existing positions are, right?
Yeah,
Like, so
makes
that's
sense.
all that it is. It's
Yeah,
that a ton of volume got put in here. We could see that a ton of short volume got put in here, right? It comes up, gets shorted down. It trades up a little higher, shorted down. Comes up here, shorted down. And then after the shorts have accumulated that short position, then it starts to, right, kind of move down. So it's no surprise that when we come up and hit it, that there's resistance. But overall, I still feel very confident in like the longer term thesis here. And like this little move, this isn't what I've been waiting for. Like that's not what I'm here for.
that was
This
cool and
company,
all, but yeah, that was like whatever.
it
You're
was
like
cool,
that
right?
was
It was
cool. I'm not waiting.
that was cool. Now
It
show me
wasn't.
something
It didn't hit
cooler.
20 a share yet, but that was
Now
cool.
show me something cooler,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So when we're looking at indie, one of the things, just to kind of tie this back to what we were talking about in the beginning of the show, right? What we have to understand is that they are an integral part of like the physical AI ecosystem, right? So they had mentioned that they were getting into robotics, and that they had a robotics partner on their earnings call, but they didn't tell us who. Last night, we learned who. It's
Who is it?
Unistar or
Oh,
Unitree.
nice. Oh, cool. There you
So
go.
so that company that was just making all of the robots that we were watching at the beginning of the stream, Indie is the provider for them.
That's cool.
It's providing them with semiconductors, and it's providing them with photonics, right? So the ability to again see and detect what is going on around it.
Like these companies are gonna
Indie
gonna go
is doing
nuts.
that.
They are because okay, like I this one of my friends, they had their birthday party and I was there this past weekend, and one of the moms, she works, we went to her house. She works for some a semiconductor company that builds pieces of they don't she said her company builds components of a semiconductor
to be assembled
and
somewhere
she said,
else.
and she said that her company is sold out till the end of 2028. And she said for the first time since she's worked there, they're completely booked. She's
Yep.
never even seen anything like it. And I mean, to
And
think
it's funny
about what she
because
said, but she has no
that
idea about other things. I mean, she maybe she does, but I'm saying like it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like she didn't know about it, the whole big, you know, what's going on with, you know, AI and I mean, she knows a little bit, but I'm saying she just doesn't know. She just works in the semiconductor business.
so this circles back to what W7 was saying just a little bit ago, right? Just about 25 minutes ago. So when we're talking about data centers, we can see that the demand does exist. Maybe it's not translating into revenue right now, but that's because it has to be built first,
Correct.
right? It has to be built first.
When they say
So
they're
the
sold out
demand
for 2
is
years, they
there.
haven't built it yet necessarily.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you were seeing semiconductor component manufacturers, right, that are sold out for 2+ years, right? Um, we're seeing that, for instance, like with Nebius, right, ticker NBIS, we see that their customers are literally subsidizing the purchase of the hardware so that way they can get the data centers online faster and with less risk to Nebius. There is a reason for it, and it's because the demand is almost incomprehensible.
Mhm.
It is not showing up as revenue yet, but that's
Correct.
because they haven't finished building it.
Yep.
When they do finish building it, that revenue is going to be swarming in, right? And in the beginning, right, they're going to still have to pay off some of these debts. It's not going to translate into profit right away. But give it a year or two after everything gets opened, brother, those profits could be fucking insane.
The market is kind of like, you know, trying to price it in, but then the bears have their arguments like that. Oh yeah, this is overvalued, Ponzi scheme, not the future, whatever nonsense that I think they say. But my point is that, like Caleb said, this is going to happen. This is the future. Their
It's
demand
going to
the
happen.
demand is there. The infrastructure is being built out as we speak. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to continue to be built out. And it's going to they're going to make tons of money, in my opinion. So
Absolutely. So I guess one of the things that I want to kind of leave with, right, today, because we always like to leave with a little bit of wisdom at the end of the show. So one of the things that I want to leave you all with today is think about this. Who do you think is more intelligent? The leadership, the C-suite of all of these big tech companies, right? We're talking about your Google, your Amazon, your Meta, right? Your Microsoft. Do we think that the people running these companies are stupid? Do you think that they all ended up simultaneously coming to the conclusion that we need to dump collectively trillions of dollars into building out this AI infrastructure? They all came to this conclusion independent of one another. Do you think that they came to it without really thinking about or recognizing what it could mean for their business? I don't. I think
look
that
at
they did a ton of research.
look at
Now,
Meta. Like,
my
geez, like
question
what I'm
would be,
saying.
my follow-up question would be, who do you think is more intelligent? Do we think that it's your Jensen Huangs of the world? Or do we think it's that guy on Reddit that has a $200 short position? Because I'm going to side with Jensen Huang here. Okay. Like some dude on fucking Reddit or StockTwits, that literally means absolutely nothing to me. Okay.
Yeah, like the
Like,
numbers matter, bro. Like I know you can call it all you want, but like, you know, they're missing out like on one of the best, like this is one of the best bull markets in the history of the world ever.
absolutely. I mean,
And
think about
we're just getting started, dude, in my
think about like
opinion.
Michael Burry, right? So
Yeah.
Michael Burry, instead of just longing the thing that was super obvious, about a year and a half ago, he decided to take a massive short position, synthetic short position, right, in Palantir and Nvidia. What happens? Cooked, instantly cooked. Okay. Then, very recently, he decides, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to short Caterpillar into their earnings. What happens? cooked, gone. God damn it! I need to go get a fucking skillet.
Dude,
So I
that's
can
the
show you
dude
how
that was
cooked this
buying
stuff
like
is.
Lululemon stock and shit.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
250.
He's
Like,
buying
come on.
Lululemon and trying to short Caterpillar. Like, so realize that these are the kinds of people right now. And am I saying
No.
that it only goes directly up from here? Absolutely not.
No, and
Sure,
they
there
have
might be
some
some
good
downside.
trades here and there. It's not like
Okay.
they're, everyone's got their good and their bad, but don't
Absolutely.
put yourself in an echo chamber. Have an
I
open
just told
mind.
you, right? Like
Yeah.
I right now I'm red on Fermi. I'm bagged on Fermi.
Mm.
I'm bagged on BlackBerry.
But you're
And
not
I'm okay in
stressed.
sitting in both of them.
Yeah, because you
you know?
like the company and you're like, until something fundamentally became impossible to ignore, you're gonna probably hold. And I mean, I size a lot, so I mean, if I get completely blasted on a few positions, I don't really give a shit. But because at the end of the day, I'm up 20x on something else.
I
So
say
I don't
because
really
you're
care.
diversified, right?
Exactly.
And you don't over allocate, which is
Nope,
a big thing.
I don't.
So yeah, I think I think that that is one of the strong things to lead with, right?
Yeah,
And then
for sure.
just kind of going along with that, I want to go ahead and show you guys a clip from a movie that came out quite some time ago. But I want to show it to you guys because I think that it is I think that it's incredibly potent in what it shows, right? And kind of the message you know that it imparts. So I want to go ahead and share this with you guys real quick, and you tell me what you think. Okay, you tell me what you think. Love this clip. Okay, here we go.
Told me what? All we had to do, shoot down the helicopters.
Listen, not for nothing, but do you know the story about the Zen master and the little boy?
Oh, is this something from Nitsa, the Greek witch of Aquilippa, Pennsylvania?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it is. There was a little boy, and on his 14th birthday, he gets a horse. And everybody in the village says, how wonderful, the boy got a horse. And the Zen master says, we'll see. 2 years later, the boy falls off the horse, breaks his leg, and everybody in the village says, how terrible. And the Zen master says, we'll see. Then a war breaks out, and all the young men have to go off and fight, except the boy can't because his leg's all messed up. And everybody in the village says, how wonderful.
Now, the Zen master says, we'll see.
So you get it.
No, because I'm stupid.
You're not stupid. You're just in Congress.
Send them money.
You can start with the roads, move on to the schools, factories.
Gus, now it's a party.
Restock the sheep herds, give them jobs, give them hope.
I'm trying.
Yeah, well, try harder.
I'm fighting for every dollar.
So that is incredibly potent to me. One of my favorite things to say in regards to the stock market is we will see. We don't know the future. We can make educated guesses, but we don't know the future. And sometimes you just have to park a little bit into something that you have done research in, that you have confidence in. Let it go and say, we'll see.
I agree. We'll see.
We'll see. So will the market crash? We'll see. Will AI turn into an actual bubble? We'll see.
Will you become a millionaire? We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. So that's what I would like to just kind of leave you guys with. And I want you to, as you are taking this journey and as you are improving yourselves, I want you to think about things, think about the big picture. And, while you can be confident in your analysis, always keep that in mind that the future is unknown. If we knew the future, then it would just be the present, right?
We wouldn't be here right now talking to you if we knew the future. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In the sense of like, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody, we all are trying to predict the future, as you said. And the ones who are the closest, we're going to make the money. You know what I'm saying? That's the truth about it. So.
All right. Well, I think that's a great spot to leave it. We'll be back here next Wednesday, and what happens till then, we'll see. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. And I hope to see you again on the next one. And just remember, hang on tight if you have that thesis. Don't overcommit, and just let the wave take you where it takes you. And if you enjoy this and you want to be part of these kinds of conversations every day, make sure that you join the Discord. I've had it on the little ticker down below, right? So that's discord.gg/NQQ, where we trade equities, options, futures, and, we'll see what happens. Until next time, take care, and see you soon.
Bye, guys.
Cheers.